y'all, I'm Alyssa and I'm a junior at Vanderbilt University. Today, I'm going to be talking with you all about what I wish I knew about AP classes and tests. So at my high school, there was a really big push to do APs, not only because of the credit you could get in colleges with the AP test scores, but also just for growth and to challenge yourself. So I ended up taking a lot of AP courses, probably more than I should have, and definitely more than I would have had I gone back and known what I know now. Anyway, that being said, something to really think about when you're taking AP courses is how interested you are in the course. The truth about an AP course is that's a pretty heavy workload. And so if you're not interested in it or passionate about it, it's going to be a lot harder to do the work. Obviously not impossible. We've all taken classes we don't like, aka calc, but it would be a lot harder to just get the work done. So that's something definitely that you should think about. Also, something that I wish I had thought about was how prepared I would be to take the test. This kind of goes along with how interested and passionate you are in a subject. So sometimes you go into a class, you're not super interested in it, you're not super passionate about it, you don't put in a lot of effort. So by the time this class was over, I was not at all ready for the test. So one of the biggest reasons I had taken this class was to get the AP test score to get credit in college, and then ended up taking the test and not getting a score that a college could accept. By the way, colleges usually accept a 3 to 5, but depending on the school, they might only accept 4s and 5s, and some schools may only accept 5s. That's just an FYI. So that's something that I wish I had known. Also, sometimes you go into a course and it's not even your fault. Maybe you're super passionate, maybe you're invested, maybe you're not, but you still do all the work, and maybe the teacher just isn't that great. Sometimes that happens too. I know that I went into a test thinking that I knew everything that the teacher taught me. I had studied everything that we did in the class, and I still didn't do a good grade, didn't make a good score on the test just because the teacher really just didn't prepare us well enough. And sometimes that happens too. Teachers really can make or break an AP test. Something else to think about is that your future college might not even give you credit for the score that you get. So like I said, some colleges take between a 3 to 5, but depending on the school, they might only accept a 4 or 5, or might only accept a 5. So you should definitely look into schools that you're really interested in and see what range they're accepting, but also you should look at the courses they're accepting. For me, I took both AP Lit and AP Lang, and when I got to college, realized that they counted for the same credit. Now, I love English, I'm an English major, so it was no problem for me, but definitely something that I would have liked to know before taking that extra class. Like I said before, an AP workload is a lot. So the workload just may be more than you want to take on, especially if you're doing multiple APs at once. It's really important to think about how much work you have to do and how much time you have to do it, because also you'll be doing extracurriculars, which college loves to see too. So really you have to think about the balance between, okay, how much work am I going to be doing for these classes and how much time do I have to do them? And honestly, do I really care about these classes? Do I think I will do well enough in these courses that I could get a good test score that transfers to college credit? Okay, that's the last thing that I actually want to bring up is don't take the test if you don't feel prepared. Or just don't take the test if you don't think you're going to do well on it. Just because you took a course doesn't mean you're going to be prepared. But also, just because you took the course does not mean you have to take the test. AP tests are expensive. They do. They cost money. And so if you don't want to take the test, the school's going to push you to want to take it. Or AP whatever is going to, AP College Board is going to push you to take the test. Obviously, they want you to take the test. And yeah, you want some of you want to too, because you want to get the college credit. But if you don't feel like you're going to do a good job, honestly, there are so many tests that I wish I wouldn't have wasted the money, because I knew that I wasn't going to do well on it, but I felt pressure to take the test. At the end of the day, if you take an AP course, you're still getting a lot out of it. You're still challenging yourself, you're growing, you're really learning deep knowledge about that subject. And also at some high schools, I don't know about all high schools, but for my high school, if you got an A in an AP class, it was actually weighted higher on your GPA. So if your school was by 4.0, an AP class would be 4.2. I don't know, I'm making that up, but something. An A in an AP class would actually be higher than an A in a normal class. So it's also just better for your high school GPA. Either way, it's a win-win. Whether you take the test or not, you're still winning. Okay, last thing, I said that was the last thing, but this is actually the last thing. Kind of contradicting myself a little bit, but in terms of the AP Lit, AP Lang, when I was deciding my senior year whether to take AP Lit, I was deciding between taking AP Lit and AP Physics. So this is also part of the reason I wish I would have known that AP Lit and AP Lang counted for the same credit, because I'm an English major. So first of all, that only counted for 1 credit. And also I was going to have to take English classes in college regardless, and I'm excited about doing that. However, I go to liberal arts school. So for our general curriculum or our liberal arts curriculum, we have to take a lab science. Lab science in colleges are so much harder than they probably would have been in high school. So looking back, I probably would have taken AP Physics. Even though I'm not pursuing physics in college or anything of the sort, nor do I love science, physics was something that I kind of liked. I wasn't super passionate about it, but I kind of liked it. Probably enough to get me through the class and probably enough to get a good enough score on the AP test that it could have counted for credit. So you also just want to think about, just honestly logically, you maybe want to take AP courses that go towards your major because then you'll feel more prepared in that subject. But you also might want to think about taking APs outside of what you think you're going to be pursuing in college so that you can get credit that transfers and then you don't have to do those harder classes in college that you're really not all that passionate about. Anyway, I hope that all made sense. Kind of everywhere, kind of a jumble, but that's just my brain's full of this AP knowledge. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to Niche or to comment on any of these videos. We'll be more than happy to get back to you about that. I know APs are something that's a really tricky subject and everyone has different advice and ideas. So please take what I say with a grain of salt. Ultimately, just trust yourself. Whatever you want to do, don't listen to outside sources, don't listen to outside people. I mean, maybe your parents, they usually give good advice, but really whatever you think based on your own workload, based on your own passions, really go with that at the end of the day. So again, hope this was helpful. Please let us know if you have any other questions about APs, and don't forget to follow for more. Thanks, y'all. Bye.